It's good to be here. You're watching the Expose TV network, and the program you're watching is the Impact series. Now, on the Impact series, for those who are just joining us for the first time, the Impact series is really about those things that have affected us in our lives, the things that we deal with every day, and the things that we want to overcome. Because if you look at it, life has a way of impacting us, either negatively or positively. Now, for this series that we're going to be working on right now, we're going to be looking at childhood scars. What are we talking about? We have a 5-part series, and the 5-part series is going to talk to every aspect of our lives, from, of course, the childhood scars to the adolescent scars to the workplace scars to the life scars and the old age scars, that the elderly scars. You'll be surprised that even in old age, people go through scars. They are going through things that they can't explain to you, and you really don't know how to reach them, because at that point you can't even, they don't talk very much again, because they've gone through so many things in their lives, and to express, they just begin to look at you. So all of this and so much more, believe me, we'll be taking on this series. Is a 5-week series on the program Impact series, and it's my pleasure to bring it all to you. When we come back, we'll start with the first part of the series, which is the childhood scars. This is really the birth of all the scars that we tend to carry through life. My name is Lola Oduba. The program is the Impact series on the Expose TV network. If you know anybody who is struggling with one of these scars, please invite them to join you now. You know what to do. Share, like the Expose TV network on Facebook, on YouTube, and TikTok. When we come back, we'll start with childhood scars. You're welcome to the program. Welcome back. My name is Lola Oduba, and the program you're watching is the Impact series of the Expose TV network. Remember, at the start of the show, I said that we're going to be dealing with a 5-part series of scars in our lives. Basically, the name of this series is called How to Deal with the Scars in Your Life. And we said we were going to start with 5 series, which is, of course, the childhood scars, adolescent scars, the workplace scars, the life scars, and the elderly, which is the old age scars. On today's show, we're going to be starting with the childhood scars. What are childhood scars? You won't imagine. Why would a child even have scars in the first place? What is happening to a child that doesn't know anything, who's just been born into the world and yet begins to have scars? The truth about it is that the moment you come into this world, the challenge of life starts. What are we talking? Even if you were born into privilege, the challenge of life starts as well, because from the moment that you begin to say, someone begins to compare you to either your sister or your brother who is maybe talking better than you, or who spoke better than you, or who walked before you started walking, or why are you behaving like this? Your sister was not like this, your brother was not like this, or your sister acts better than you, or your cousin is not like this, your cousin. So the moment from when you are a child, the scars begin to happen. Unfortunately so. And it happens in most households who have not yet coming to the realization that you can inflict scars into children if you do not mind how you deal with them, if you do not mind how you talk to them. From the moment a child begins to have feelings, from the moment that they start to experience things, they begin to form mindsets, they begin to form emotions, they begin to form what their attitude later will become in life. And it is very important that at this stage, you give them a positive feedback. A positive feedback builds their self-confidence. A positive feedback helps their emotion. A positive feedback helps them to navigate through life, while, of course, not shielding them from the realities of life. Because the truth about it is that even if you have given them all the guiding and all the positive feedback, they may enter into a society that is not so kind. When they enter into their primary schools, maybe they are school, their teachers, may be able to begin to tell them, oh, you're not as smart as this person, or why are you not agile, or why are you sleeping? And all of this begins to form scars in a child's life. They go out into the environment again. I mean, take for instance, they are walking around the neighborhood, or they are playing around the neighborhood, or they are playing in school and they are associating with their mates. And again, they become bullied by someone who probably is going through something in the house himself, another child who is going through some form of ill treatment in the house, and then comes to the school to met it out on other students. So you see what I'm saying, that childhood scars cuts across parenthood, it cuts across environment, it cuts across society. So the truth about it is that when children are faced with childhood scars, what tends to happen is that loss of confidence. You begin to see the child being withdrawn. You see a lack of self-confidence in the child. The child is not able to articulate themselves properly. The child is not able to be their full potential. He's not able to rise to the occasion when the need arises. Of course, he or she now has difficulty in trusting others. Why? Because that child has gone through something, is going through something emotionally and mentally that tends to put the child down. And then you see the child, as they go through life, even to become adults, they have difficulty in trusting others. Of course, again, there is that fear of rejection, fear of abandonment that tends to follow that child from when they are young to when they are old. Why? Because the child feels that nobody was there to fight for me when I was young. Nobody was there to stand up for me when I was young. And then there is that feeling of abandonment and rejection as you go through adulthood, from when you are a child to when you go through adulthood, because you begin to feel that you had to do it by yourself. You had to stand by yourself. You had to fight in life for yourself. No one was there to take care of you mentally, emotionally, financially, physically. And that sense of rejection, that sense of, oh, wherever I am, I'm not accepted. I have to always do something out of the ordinary for people to even notice me. All of those are some of the childhood scars and some of its effects on children. Again, there is constant need for validation and approval. When you see someone who has a childhood scar, there is that self-need to wanting to always be approved. Before I can do anything, I must seek approval. I must be looking at somebody's face to know that, yes, I'm approved. Or, so, everything I do, I must seek validation. I must, some people call it notice me or I die. Some people go into that self thing of, oh, yes, my voice must be heard. I must be louder than everybody else. For some people, I must be louder than everybody else. For some people, I must be quieter than everybody else. You see the disparity in that? It's either I must be louder than everybody else, or I must be quieter than everybody else, so nobody notices me, so that nobody notices me when I'm doing wrong, so that I can just blend in. But to blend in, the truth about it is that you cannot stand out, because in everything that you do in life, you must maintain a position. People must know where you stand. They must know where you stand. You can't just go with the flow with everything that happens, because that's where you are not helping yourself to really stand out. While not wanting to be the loudest in the house, you want to maintain some form of dignity. But childhood scars help rob everyone of dignity, because you really never know who you truly are. And when that happens, it robs you of a lot emotionally. It transcends from even when you are a child to when you are an adult. Because you continue to seek validation from others. You continue to seek approval from others before you can even make up your mind to go at your own task. So again, of course, it builds resentment. Because then you feel that the world was against you. Because the world was against you, you are now against some form of people, or you are against the world yourself, because you feel that nobody stood for you. You now begin to feel resentful towards everyone, especially those that you feel are in your path to progress. So we want to be careful when we are bringing up children to make sure that the children we are bringing up are balanced emotionally. They are people that are balanced. They are people that you are ever you are ever conscious of how they are doing. How they are doing. When the child comes back from school, you want to ask, how are you? What happened in school? Not just assume everything is fine. Because when that child feels that nobody is interested in what I'm going after, it's not just for me to go drop my bag, when I come back, eat and go and play. Nobody really cares about what I went through. Nobody really cares about whether I was okay in school. You want to find out, who were your friends? Who did you play with? How did you play with them? Did anything happen out of the... When the child sees a friend in you, the child is able to open up to you, and the child is able to confide in you, knowing that my parents are there for me, knowing that my guardian is there for me. Once when a child feels that there is nobody there for them, then scars begin to build. Again, emotional outburst, you see that children who have been scarred tend to have emotional... You just see the person get angry all of a sudden. Even into adulthood, you see the person burst out. They have no control over their emotions because they feel that life has been unfair to them. And when life has been unfair to you, you feel that the only way to retaliate with life is to have emotional outbursts, shout on people anyhow, talk to people anyhow. All of this are childhood scars that have been given when they were young. Anxiety, you see yourself in always feeling, always on the edge. All these they have a root somewhere. They have a root somewhere. Self-doubt, insecurity. You find that all of these things are affecting you in one way or another. And then you wonder where all these are coming from. It's coming from the need to which something happened when you were a child, to the fact that needs to be traced. So what was it that happened to me when I was a child? Why did it happen to me? If it was my fault, what can I do about it now that I'm an adult? If it wasn't my fault, okay, fine. These situations happened to me, and what do I need to do about it? You also see the fear of taking risk, fear of pursuing opportunities, fear of holding yourself back. Because take, for instance, you were at home, and whenever you wanted to talk, they will shut you down. Hey, sit down there. Who are you to talk when your elders have not spoken? All these are childhood scars. So if they are being practiced in any home that is watching me now, you want to take stock of what you are doing, because what you are doing, if it was done to you, has a way of affecting a child through life. And you don't want that, because you want a total child. You want someone who's going to go through adulthood, who's balanced, who's going to go through childhood, who's going to go into adulthood, and who's balanced, and who's well articulated, and who's confident. So all of these things are what you want to avoid. So if any of it has happened to you, just know that there is a childhood scar that you are dealing with somehow or the other, and which needs to be worked on today. Now, for all those who have some childhood scars, and you find yourself avoiding conflict at all costs, because you feel that conflict will make people see you in another way, and you don't want to be seen in that way. And then you bottle up emotions that are supposed to be explained logically to the next person, but because you want to avoid conflict, you bottle it up and just go with the flow. What it does is that you begin to have a build-up inside you that is not healthy. Take, for instance, you also begin to feel as though you are not good enough, that your voice is not powerful enough to be heard. No, your voice is always powerful enough to be heard. Again, you now begin to feel as though it is hard for you to express your feelings. And so because you feel it is hard for you to express your feelings, you now tend to keep your feelings to yourself, thinking your feelings don't matter. You just may be surprised that one word from you changes the whole situation. Again, you struggle to set healthy boundaries. People can come into your space and say to you whatever it is they want to say, however it is they want to say. No, you must learn to set healthy boundaries. Again, you are still deeply affected by certain things that was said to you in childhood when you were growing up. then you know that you are still dealing with something. You know, when those kind of things, when people say one or two things to you and it takes you back to how you were treated as a child, and then you now begin to think of how angry you were, how upset you were, how you got into one fight or the other, just because somebody said that thing to you, and it's been said to you today, and because of that you get angry. Those are childhood scars that needs to be dealt with. Now, what do you do about it? When we come back, we will go into that and so much more. The program is the Impact series on the Expose TV network. Please don't go nowhere as we remain with you. So if you know anyone who's dealing with any childhood scar, you see them acting out, let's come together and learn when we come back on what to do about it. You're welcome.